Why do we hate?
We hate because we're taught to hate. We hate because we're ignorant. We are the product of ignorant people who have been taught an ignorant thing, which is that there are 4 or 5 different races. There are not 4 or 5 different races. There's only one race on the face of the earth, and we're all members of that race, the human race. But we have separated people into races so that some of us can see ourselves as superior to the others. We thought it would work, I guess. It hasn't worked. It has been bad for everyone. But it's time to get over this business. There is no gene for racism. There's no gene for bigotry. You're not born a bigot. You have to learn to be a bigot. Anything you learn, you can unlearn. It's time to unlearn our bigotry. It's time to get over this thing, and we best get over it pretty soon. I'm an educator, and it is my business as an educator to lead people out of ignorance. The ignorance of thinking that you're better or worse than someone else because of the amount of a pigment in your skin. Pigmentation in your skin has nothing to do with intelligence or with your worth as a human being. It's time to get over that.
Sunday night, Tracky talks bollocks.
Hi girls and guys, it's MrTrakky and we're on the right track. Guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Life Show. Very powerful intro there. And you probably can tell by now what I'm going to speak about today. I have been inundated with messages from subscribers asking me to talk about racism. Now, I've mentioned to you all previously, if you've been following me for a long time, you will know that I am a mixed race male from the UK. And in real life, I've had to deal with some real life issues. And I just wanted to give a bit of my perspective on stuff and just answer some of the questions that I was given. So the main question I've been asked is, have I experienced racism? First off, yes. More times than you care to know. And it's been all types of different racism. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, different types of racism. I thought racism was racism. Racism comes in many different forms, and I'll give you several examples as the video goes along. My main experience of racism has been growing up as a mixed race guy. Now, a lot of people seem to think that racist people are of white skin colour. That is not true. That is probably the biggest lie you will ever find in your life. Take that from me right now. I've experienced just as much racism from what would be perceived as my own kind, in inverted commas, as much as I've had it from white people. Growing up as a mixed race guy was very hard. Very, very hard. I had a big identity crisis growing up because to certain white people I wasn't white at all, certainly wasn't white, and even though I had a white grandmother, they still wanted nothing to do with me. And to certain black people, I just weren't black enough. In fact, a lot of people called me a bounty. Now, a bounty, I don't know if you've got them in the States, but in the UK, a bounty is a chocolate, which is a chocolate covering coconut. So can you kind of get where I'm coming from there? Black on the outside but white in the middle. They believed that I was black but I acted like a white person. So for many years I had issues at school because of my colour. And I had these issues and I couldn't speak to my mum about them. I could, but I didn't want to speak to my mum about them on the basis that my mum was a black woman. And because of how I was treated by black people, I was scared to talk to my mother as a black woman. And there's many little things that have happened to me growing up that to the average person is just harmless and they probably won't even realise. But to me, sometimes it aggravated me. A lot of people assume that because I am mixed race that I'm half black, half white. Straight away, oh, you're half caste. That's That's a terminology I've heard a lot in my life that I hate because I'm not. If you want to get technical, I'm 3/4 caste, as they would say, but that's such an old saying now. It's such an old school back in the day saying. My mum's black, my dad is half black, half white, so I'm 3/4 black, 1/4 white. And I've just said it, my mum's black, my dad is half black, half white, but for some reason when people meet me, the first thing they say is I'm half caste, and they make the assumption that my mother's white and my dad's black. Now I know that in society that seems to be the norm, but I'm an individual and I like people to ask the individual and find out for themselves, and that's something that is a pet hate, just like my real name, which I'm not going to disclose on the video. A lot of people get my name wrong, which frustrates me, but I've got to the point that it happens so much that I kind of just roll my eyes in the back in my head, because I'm just tired of correcting people. Other things that I've experienced, and if you want to get an idea about what I look like, Terrence Howard is about the complexion that I am. Similar type of hair, but I wasn't lucky enough to get them killer eyes that he's got, unfortunately. That would have been the difference between me being me and me being a model, I reckon. But there are other things that I've had to deal with day to day, even in some jobs that I've been in. Black people have approached me and expected to get some better type of treatment than others because I'm a black guy, and that they can play the system through me by trying to identify with me and putting me in a situation that they should not be putting me in the first place. And there's a few other things growing up that some people have not realised that they've kind of been racist to me without realising that they've been racist to me. And while I'm not one of these people that gets offended quickly, and it's probably because of what I've seen in my lifetime, certain other people could get offended. And I'll give you some examples, guys. I've heard this one so many times, I can't care to think, and that is, where are you from? And my answer is always the same: I'm from Birmingham. Now, where are you actually from? Okay, I'm from England, Britain. No, you're not getting what I mean. Oh, are you trying to ask me where is my heritage from? Oh, my grandparents are from Jamaica, blah blah blah. Do you get where I'm coming from here? And it's always hard to have to goad people into what they want to say. And I know that exactly what I'm saying there is just ignorance, and it's not necessarily somebody being racist. It's the fact that they don't realise, because of their ignorance, that they are being racist and they can cause offence. I've heard people say stuff to me like, oh, you speak very well. Well, how the hell am I supposed to speak? And going back into what Jane Elliott said at the start, my education levels are not dictated by the pigmentation in my skin. And it's actually really weird to hear that. Another one which I've heard so many times in my lifetime is, what are you? That's somebody asking me what colour I am, or what kind of black am I? Am I African black? Am I Jamaican black? Am I Guyanese? There's so many, you know what I mean? And once again, it goes back to ignorance. And these are all the things that I've experienced in my lifetime in regards to racism. Not just your generic nigger, black bastard, coon. I've heard all of that before. That's the obvious. And when you do that, I can already differentiate what type of person you are. I can already know you've given me a clear signal that you are a blatant racist. I know which basket I need to put you in. Whereas somebody that comes across ignorance, sometimes you can't tell whether they're actually racist or they're just that ignorant that they don't realise that they're being racist. Guys, I hope I've enlightened the questions have been asked. And I hope I've shown you a different perspective of racism altogether, because it isn't just black and white and all these obscenities I could say right now. Guys, there's many buttons you could hit, but the like and subscribe button, I hope they tickle your fancy. And as always guys, don't forget to stay on the right track. Peace.